spirit on you. You got that spirit. You're working for Laban right now.
My God.
And what God wants to do with you this year is he wants to bring you into your own place. But Jacob was struggling, and then Laban's sons were jealous of Jacob because everything he touched was prosperous. See, Jacob didn't realize the kind of touch he had. He had the ability to touch something, and so many times we're so deficient that we're trying to go where it's successful. I've never seen so many people flock into a big church, or a church in the suburbs, or a church that's got this, and a church that's got that, and they got a children's ministry, and they got a nursery, and they got all this stuff. But what you do is you deny yourself the opportunity to start what's not there. Anybody can jump on a bandwagon, but how many people can blaze a trail where there is none? How many people can get down and dirty and raise up something beautiful in the midst of a place that isn't so pretty?
My God.
You go where it's easy. You go looking. This is what the Lord told me. I moved to Los Angeles. Couldn't find a church that I could connect with. They got big churches. They got beautiful churches. I had some inroads to some prominent churches and pastors. And I said, but God, it's not here. And I got depressed because I couldn't find it. And I said, well, I'll go back home, because I know it's there. And God said, you will deny yourself the opportunity to learn how to be a builder. What God has put inside of you, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen because you build it.
Say it.
In other words, nobody's going to build it for you. Because God is not a God of entitlements. He's a God of grace, gifting. Grace is not just a handout. Grace is an empowering. The highest form of giving is not to give somebody a meal, but to empower somebody to eat for the rest of their life. Not to give them a fish, but to teach them how to fish. That's the but if you're struggling yourself, how would you possibly ever teach anybody? Jacob was left alone. He wrestled with the man. Saw that he did not prevail against Jacob. So he touched the hollow of his thigh, and Jacob's thigh was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. I'll break that down in a minute. Then he said, let me go, for the day is breaking. That's God talking. But Jacob said, I can't let you go unless you declare a blessing upon me. That is a symptom of Jacob's deficiency. Because obviously he feels empty. Now I'm wondering, why does he still want a blessing when he already got the blessing from Esau? Because whatever you get, if it's not done the right way, it might even be God's will, but it'll never satisfy you till it's done right. And so he says, you know, let me go, and I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. And then the man asked him, what is your name? Now listen what I'm going to tell you tonight, because it's very important. This is key. If I don't say anything else tonight, I've got to say this. You will get a healing of every deficiency and every dysfunction, and your struggle will end for one reason and one reason alone. Because you walk out of this building with a new name. And that goes for everybody in the room. You may say, well, I like my name. I'm not talking about a natural title. I'm not talking about going to get your name legally changed. It's much deeper than what people call you.
Right.
I looked at this, and when he said, well, what is your name? Well, my name is Jacob. What does Jacob mean? Supplanter, trickster, swindler. Just got to get mine. If I got to sell drugs to get mine, I just got to get mine. Then we got a community around us, don't care. If what they do destroys their own community, destroys their own children, destroy their own neighborhood. What did they do in Los Angeles when the Rodney King verdict came through? They didn't destroy the judge. They didn't destroy the jury's communities. They destroyed their own communities, because deficiency will make you self-destructive, and being self-destructive will make you destructive to others as well.
My God. My God.
What is your name? Jacob. No, your name will no longer be called Jacob. Now this is what some of you may say, well, you're telling me I'm going to get a name change, but I don't mean people are going to call you by a different name. And I never understood this until recently. When God changed Jacob's name to Israel, most people still knew him as Jacob. We don't say the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. Many scriptures still refer to him as Jacob. It wasn't a natural change in name, but it was a supernatural change in function. He said, your name shall not be called supplanter, but Israel. Contender with God. For you contended, and you have power with God and with men. Oh my God. I'm going to drop this on your spirit today because it's the first time in your life you're going to feel like a real champion. You have contended with God and you have prevailed. In other words, it is not I survived and I held on and God made a way because somebody came and brought some food. No, you have prevailed against everything adverse in your life that is trying to deny you the greatness that God put inside of you. For the first time in your life. And I'm willing to minimize and diminish for a minute who I am, so you can come out of this and feel like a champion. God wants you to leave out of this building tonight feeling like a champion. I don't care what circumstances in life have beat you down. You're not struggling with your circumstances. You're not struggling with people. The struggle you're having with God right now is your own doubts, your own fears, and your own insecurities. You're struggling with yourself. And there's going to be a transformation of who you thought you were. I came to tell you tonight, for the first time in your life, you're going to be introduced to the real you. Because the real you has been hidden under the deficiencies that you held on to. The behavior patterns you've held on to. The memories, the guilt, the shame, the fear, the abuse, the marks, the scars, and the wounds that life has dealt you. Let me move quick right here. But he said, Jacob asked him, well, tell me, I pray you, what in contrast is your name? Let me just show you. When you can name something, you can label it. When you can label it, you can control it. So in other words, what God is saying, let me tell you, when you really get in a place with God, I'm going to show you what he's going to do. He's going to remove your scars and heal you. Then he's going to wound you with his wound. See, some of you wonder, why what I'm going through, I don't feel sufficient, I feel deficient. Because the woundings and the dysfunction isn't the mark that he left. It's the mark that baby daddy left. It's the mark that your dysfunctional mama left. And I'm not putting your mama down, so don't start acting like you want to fight. But her mama was dysfunctional. I looked at my own family. And I said, God, my mother, and I used to say, my mother did this, my mother did that. And then God said, well, her mother did that. And her mother did that. You're blaming it on a dysfunction that is deeper than a person.
My God.
And you're holding a person who was a victim themselves. Isn't it amazing that people that carry the stigma of victimization, they don't just become victims, they become perpetrators of more victims.
My God.
That's why God needs you healed, so you can stop messing people up the way you've been messed up.
My God. Jesus.
If you stay messed up,
listen.
I promise you're going to mess somebody else up.